Well, hello, welcome to Land Title Talk, where we encourage you to text in your questions or comments at 904 501 4481, 904 501 4481, or you can email us at Stephen, STEPHEN, at go, land, LAND, title, TITLE.com, where we can discuss your questions on this show. Appreciate you listening in. And as always, we appreciate Rusty being with us. Thank you, Rusty, for being here. J. Russell Collins from the Law Office of J. Russell Collins, affectionately known as Rusty Law. And then Julie, appreciate you being here with us. Julie from Land Title. So, Rusty, what's going on in your world?
I had an eviction trial today, and we kind of called it a draw.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So
well, how do you have a draw on an eviction?
Number one, we have two judges who do a very good job with eviction trials. Okay. I think they care. They're following the law as best they can, and they're using their best judicial abilities.
Okay.
And I'm an advocate. They're the judge. We set this thing on Monday. We had to have any documents we wanted to put in fairly quick, so I had those delivered this morning. They got marked like they should be, and then we had the trial. Actually, the judge, and again, the defendant was 30 minutes late.
Really? That's the person you were representing?
No, I was representing the plaintiff.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the judge, we were past the time. In fact, I was putting stuff in. We started the trial. Actually, she was more than 30 minutes late. She's almost an hour late.
So she's not there, so you're just...
So I'm just doing my thing, putting evidence in.
Did she have representation?
No.
Really? Okay.
And I don't know.
You play both sides very nicely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I don't care what side I'm on.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer. I'm coin operator.
That's true.
Anyway, so she came in, and she's very much late, and so we didn't restart, but, I used her as a witness for some stuff, and then she got to do what she needed to do, and there were some issues of fact that were pretty rough to get through because you have he said, she said, literally.
Right.
And neither one of them, and the judge is trying to say who's got the greater weight of the evidence, and the weight of the lawyer doesn't count. So,
you went out right then.
Yeah. And so.
That was funny, by the way, Julie. Did you get my joke? Thank you for the courtesy laugh.
The courtesy laugh. Okay. Anyway, so there was an issue of whether the defendant or her partner, I guess, had when the power got turned off for non-payment of power, and whether they were stealing power from the property next door, which is also owned by the client, and
my client, your client, okay.
Yeah. So
he owned two houses next door to each other.
But here's the thing: the evidence we had of that is I've got pictures of a really long extension cord running from one house, through the fence and stuff, and then.
I mean, how do they go next door and plug something into the house next door, and the tenants there allow that? And
the tenants there don't pay for the power there. The landlord does.
Oh,
on that property.
But not on the property that
right. So
you were
anyway, but then, so it looks like you've got that same wire, depending on color and how the light was hitting the wire. It looks like it's going into the trailer next door into the defendant's house. Okay, and you could energize the house that way. If your power's off and you need power, I guess you could do that. So I think that's pretty cut and dry, and that's not a good thing to do. It's theft, but
can it be prosecuted as theft?
Possibly.
It's electricity. I mean, it's not funny. It's just funny,
Then again, the response to that was that because the faulty wiring in the trailer, they were using a circuit from inside the house to be able to run some power tools outside, because if they ran them on the normal circuit from a closer place, it would blow the circuit or blow the breaker.
That's not uncommon, Rusty.
And
that's not necessarily faulty.
Well, I'm just saying
faulty circuit.
That was a plausible explanation. Okay, and I don't have a.
Good thing I
If
was
I-
in the
if I
courtroom
had
because I
a-
don't think that's a plausible
Oh,
explanation.
Well, now
okay,
the
their
issue-
electricity was off. There's an
that- okay,
extension
so-
cord running
right, but
from
see,
the
they
neighbor's
said the electricity
property.
was turned on that day. Now, that day, and I have timestamped pictures of stuff.
Okay.
But that day, the power. That was the day the power was off. I've got where that was the day it was turned off. And they said they paid the money and they got turned back on right away. And so, what time did it get turned on?
Well, how long was it off?
Don't know. It's
Days, weeks.
Now my information from
Because
Florida
if
Power
the
Light
power
says-
was off for like 3 hours or 5 hours or even one day, I would not be so. I wouldn't get my.
well,
my
there's
dander
other
up over
reasons,
that.
okay, but that the eviction's happening. But that's one thing that would be a big deal to the judge. And my records from Florida Power Light I was able to get show that the power was off and the account
For
was
how
closed.
long?
No, the account was closed.
For how long?
Account's dead.
I get it, but for how long? I think that's a
It
material.
was turned off on that day.
Well, we don't know what that day is.
Right. We don't know what time it was turned off.
So my point is, how long has it been off? Is it still off?
It's still off.
And the people still reside there?
I guess, yeah. They're sleeping there somehow.
Like you guess, they either are or
Well,
they not.
I think they're sleeping in the car.
Okay,
because that's where you
so
have air
they still have
conditioning.
quote unquote possession.
They
of the
have
place.
possession,
All
right.
And
So-
and there's the cord running from the neighbor's house to.
Well, no, that cord's not there anymore. But I'm just saying.
Well, obviously, I'm
the-
pretty sure they had it there for as long as they could get away with it.
The problem is that what she had was a viable explanation if the power was on in the house, and we
Listen,
don't know.
her power's off, so
Well-
that's not a viable explanation.
There's enough lack of good information, okay? Because all I have is what Florida Power Light has on statements and a disconnect notice. So it doesn't say that it wasn't
All
reestablished.
right, so get to the point then.
Point is, that's a big issue, okay? And
Stealing power from the neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say.
but
So wait a minute. She's in a trailer with faulty wiring.
Well,
So she
there's
plugs
issues.
into the neighbor's house, which is owned by the same landlord. So you're not
Well,
But
you
the
have to
same
understand-
landlord that
who did not fix.
who actually pays that electric as part of the lease.
But he hasn't fixed the faulty wiring the other place.
But,
so
but
I mean,
define
is it
faulty
really
wiring though. I
Okay,
mean,
well,
come on now.
start a
People-
fire? That's
Well,
what I
they
hear.
didn't start a fire.
Okay, well,
Well,
let's
do you
get
wait
back
for
to
it?
what's going on here. The reason for the wiring being run from the neighbor property to our property was because they were doing some outside work and they needed power tools. Okay,
That's different.
so
Yeah.
I don't.
there's
I don't
some-
buy
there's some-
that.
Yeah.
with
there's some
nothing.
plausible explanation, but in the heat of the trial, you can't say, "Hey, you're a liar."
Okay,
you don't
but
do
are
that.
they paying the rent?
They had from their position, they prepaid rent through next month.
Okay, from their position and from your position.
The rent was more than they think, and they didn't pay us as much as they say they did.
So how does that happen? Is it a written lease or we have a verbal?
Okay, if it was a written lease,
I'm
and we had
just
receipts,
asking.
okay,
I'm asking.
no, that's
It's
the
a
problem.
verbal.
Everything's verbal.
So
What could go wrong?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
What could go wrong?
Okay, so you've got differences of opinion as to what happened, and so you got a judge stuck with that.
yeah, but I tell you what the rent is. Did they? What he accepted as the rent, the monthly rent, would be the rent.
That's not
That is
no, because she paid
Yes.
not all of the rent for the year.
okay. Did she ever pay monthly rent?
No.
never.
No.
So
She
they
paid a lump of money, and
they
we
shook
can't-
hands,
she,
and then she moved in. And at that time, how long ago had she been there?
okay. There's a question as to how much money she gave him. He says
How is there a
$9,500. She
How is
says
there a
11,200.
Did they not use a check?
It's cash.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
In the cash situation, I've got an Ameris Bank envelope. Okay. I've got her saying it's for 10 months, and in October we'll start giving you some more. I have I've got 5 straps. Okay. Actually, no, I've got four straps. Yeah, 5 straps. 4 $2,000 straps. Okay. That's 8,000, and then $1,000 strap. And he said he was given that plus $500 in single $100 bills. She says that she gave him the $9,500 in the envelope Plus, she had given them some other money earlier. And he says that didn't happen. I don't have receipts. Nobody has a receipt.
Well, what's his real reason for wanting her out? Because obviously we're talking about how much money here.
This is not a rent issue.
I get it. We're talking about
This is you violated the terms of the lease or the rental agreement.
Because what rental agreement?
Well, okay. I told you need to park in this spot. Where you're parking is
So now
blocking my way in.
We're now getting to the crux where the real issue is.
Okay. You have a race car there you're not allowed to have.
Okay. Race car.
Okay. The power's off.
The
allegations are
sitcom.
Oh, it's a
Are the power
cautionary
tools to work on the race car?
huh?
Are the power tools to work on the race car?
Yes, but he's not allowed to have the race car there. Okay.
Good observation, Julie. Great observation.
There's some broken windows that he says they broke because they were fighting with each other and threw something, and she says they were broken when they got there. I don't know what happened. Okay.
All right. So what's the end result?
The end result is
We got a stalemate. What does that mean?
Wait a minute. The issue is
But wait, there's more.
he wanted a 7-day notice of termination without ability to correct. Typically, if you're breaking the rules, breaking my lease, I can give you a 7-day notice, which is basically a notice of noncompliance. It's a fix-it notice. You got 7 days to fix these things. If you don't do it, get out. If you do fix it, and it happens again within 12 months, like a noise ordinance or something, or whatever, okay? If it happens again within 12 months, you can just terminate with 7 days notice, okay? But instead of doing that, the client wanted just a 7 days, we're done. Okay, and there's a list of things.
The plaintiff.
Plaintiff.
Your client, right?
So the judge is like,
no,
these things, there's no notice to cure, and I knew that going in. Okay, no notice to cure, but in the list of things that you could do with this a 7-day get out termination, one of them would be the theft would be a thing, but nothing else here would be something that would allow it. So, since we didn't have a police report or anything, we had some CAD reports with just the call notes from, it's got 10 codes and then signal codes from the policeman back and forth as to what's going on, but it's not a narrative. If we either get a narrative or the deputy who appeared, because my plaintiff called the law enforcement because he said there was a theft of power. If we get him or that deputy, and the deputy says, yeah, it looked to me like there was theft, that'll do it. That'll push it over.
And then he can give a 7-day notice.
No, we're done. We win.
Oh, you win.
If
3 years, so
we
if
get
you
the
win,
judgment and a writ of possession instantly.
writ of possession. And how quickly do they have to be gone?
Fast as the sheriff tosses them out.
It's just that fast?
Well, we get the judgment,
Right.
take the judgment downstairs, get the writ of possession, take the writ of possession across the street to the sheriff, give them $90, and they'll probably serve it the next day.
Okay.
And then they execute it 24 hours after that.
So after 24 hours, you're
Right.
there with your thugs.
But the other way is, if we don't have a policeman or a law enforcement who can take care of it and give us that information, she wins.
And then what? Because
then she can stay there until we do. Now we've also sent her we've also provided a brand new.
He's agreed that he's received at least how much cash?
$9,500.
$9,500, and that paid till October.
No, that paid. In his mind, it was $1,100 a month, I think.
Okay.
Well,
so he doesn't have. He doesn't have to.
He says 12. She's saying 11. I don't know.
Fine, but he doesn't have. It's a month-to-month lease.
It was for a year, but she was supposed to pay some other money starting in October to make it to where she would have the whole thing paid for the whole year. The point is this: this would have all been much better with a written document,
right?
And we would have won the day. The judge said, this has been a 5-minute. We were there for 3 hours, okay, and we're not done, okay. We started at 1:30 and got done at 5. 3.5 hours. Is if we would have had the 7-day notice to cure or statement of noncompliance, that he said this was a 5-minute hearing, if that long.
So the moral of the story is:
number one, written documents, please.
Always.
And I know we get to where we just we're friends, or I need somebody in right now,
For
or whatever.
heaven's sakes, on the freaking cash, man, sign a receipt.
Right. Why are there no
Holy
receipts?
crap. It doesn't make sense. Do I know
I
this?
get paid every month in cash for my rental that I have.
Right?
And guess what?
There's a receipt.
Yeah. And when my wife gets the envelope that has the cash in it, there's a receipt in there too. It's a photocopy, but it's a, copy of the
Right.
receipt. Why? Because we need the record to know what the heck happened.
Right.
So it's a cautionary tale. But anyway, the judge I think he did the exact right thing, because he went through the analysis and he was looking at me like, I can't really do anything here. What I can do is it makes a difference to me if there's theft. And the thing is she might not know that the boyfriend did that.
Well, but it doesn't matter. She's still liable.
Well, that's true, but her testimony doesn't make her testimony false.
I understand that, but they're still liable, because you could go to the neighbor's house and try to see if there's an enormous spike in the power usage.
Right.
That's something you could prove.
I know.
If they're running the house, now if they're just using power tools, you're not going to be able to detect that.
What if those
they're-
tenants, what if they asked permission, the tenant said, yeah, go ahead? Does that change things?
That
Like say it
didn't
was a
happen. It
temporary
didn't
thing.
happen.
Okay,
No, but what
that's a
just
good
like
question.
curious. Let's just say, hey, I got to
If
work
the
on my
tenant was paying
car.
for the power, the tenant had the right to do that.
Okay, but the tenant's not paying for the power. What if the tenant still gave permission?
If you get permission from somebody who has a parent authority to give it to you, and
Then
it's
you're
like
free.
power and you can't really check,
Got it.
it's not going to be a crime.
I mean, how does that change the analysis? She committed a crime or she didn't commit. Still, stealing power is
Well, if she had permission, then what did she do wrong that she knew was wrong?
nothing.
Okay.
Right.
Anyway, the fact is the judge gave us, we've got until his next hearing in eviction court, which is Tuesday the 26th because of Labor Day. And hopefully I'll have something
Memorial
from a law
Day.
enforcement officer by then.
Oh,
And if I don't, we lose.
well,
But the judge did the right thing today.
but let me ask this question about the losing part. So, because it was an annual agreement, and he agreed to that, your client agreed that it's an annual agreement. We're fighting about
Right.
the amount,
Well, we were fighting about the amount and whether she owes any other rent.
but when's that annual agreement end?
Well, if it's the 10 months that she says she paid for, it ends next month.
Okay, so he could just not renew the agreement.
Oh, she wants to move anyway. She just wants to live out her time she's paid for.
So
it
1
anyway.
month.
Yeah.
And he can't just give that to her?
They don't like each other much.
So this is more of a
Yeah.
principle of the matter kind of a thing for him.
I
mean, why fight if you just give her the extra month? I mean, by the time they have the hearing,
It's a hill he wants to die on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's picked his hill.
I think we would have all been better off if there was written documents.
well, duh.
It's just an example of why that matters so much.
That's one of those seatbelt, analysis.
Yeah.
Would have been better had they been wearing their seatbelts. Yeah, well, duh.
Yeah, but good contracts make good friends.
Yeah.
Okay, because at least you know what the deal was. Because you can have an honest memory problem. You don't have to be
Yeah.
lying to be wrong or to misremember.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And, I can't sit there and call somebody a liar on the stand when they're testifying.
Right.
Because I don't have sure knowledge. Now, if I do, I just let them hang themselves and hand a piece of paper and say, what does this mean then?
Right.
And that's fun. But, I think there's an honest difference of opinion.
Right.
Anyway, the judge is like, I don't have a way to, and the default here is plaintiff loses because
Right.
of that notice not being what it should have been.
So are they back in the house with faulty wiring and no electric?
They don't have electricity. Yeah, I don't know why they want to live there.
It's
but
just-
whatever.
the faulty wiring doesn't matter when you don't have electricity.
It can't be too
True.
faulty. It's a mobile home. Them suckers go in 7 minutes.
All right.
Anyway,
Anything else going on your wall?
That's the big one for today.
Is that a big one for today?
It's on my mind.
I guess it would be since you just
You
got
just
out of
came.
court, 2
Mhm.
hours ago. All right.
An hour
So
and a half.
we have a topic we want to go over with you, and we've given you heads up about this topic, so
Sure.
we cheated. We shouldn't do that. It makes it it's just not as fun when you don't know what's happening. So landlord tenant issue again,
Mm-hmm.
where we have a home that because of faulty wiring, just an interesting coincidental kind of thing. the house catches on fire and it burns down.
That's a bad day.
Bad day. Inside the home. Now, by the way, we're going for the benefit of the fun of the story, and it's not fun. I apologize. To heighten the story, the landlord knew of the faulty electrical, and the landlord was in the process of trying to arrange something to get it done, but with conflicts with the tenant, or just getting the right people, or getting quotes together, it didn't happen in time. House burnt down. And in the house, unfortunately, there were several pets. We're going to use the number 5, okay? And one was, we'll say there was 2 dogs and 3 cats, okay?
I feel bad for the dogs.
Rare.
So the tenant is devastated.
I bet.
These are the tenant's children. She's had them for a long time, and the tenant is now wanting to go after the landlord for liability for her losses. And to her, she just lost 5 children in the home. Even though they were pets, they're 5 children to her. What recourse does she have?
She can sue, but it's probably going to be in small claims court. A value of a pet is the thing. It's an object. It's like this pen. That's its value. Whatever the market
emotionally,
value. The market
emotionally,
value. I don't care about the
emotionally though. And there's such thing as emotional damage.
Well, there's no intentional infliction of emotion.
And I'm going to embarrass myself. What's tort law?
Well, the tort law is liability law.
Okay, liability. But what about emotional?
Or battery, if I hit you and it causes damage, stuff like that.
But what about the emotional? We've seen lawsuits where people sue others for emotional damage, for lack of a better word.
There's a concept or a tort called the intentional infliction of
emotional. So tort wasn't the wrong word?
No.
Okay.
Tort is like real estate law. And when you're in law school, you have tort law and you have real estate. You got civil procedure,
Okay.
It's,
all right,
that kind of thing. So torts are usually there's a liability type torts and there's intentional torts, like I hit you or I
so this would be liability.
Right.
So is there...
Okay, first of all...
Could the tenant say, I'm emotionally damaged, and this tenant is. These are her babies. And the thought, she needs counseling because she understands that, listen, if death by fire is not a cool thing, man.
No, it's usually hot.
Thank you, Rusty.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. But for this person, they're devastated.
Right. The law sees pets at their market value.
What about the emotional damage?
You're not getting intentional infliction of emotional distress for that. I've got to basically murder your children in front of you. And we're talking about biological children.
Not pets.
Not pets.
Can't sue for emotional damage.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Now, see, that's interesting coming out of your mouth.
Look, you can sue for anything you want.
I get it.
Will you win? Maybe you negotiate. But maybe you don't want to go to a trial. Maybe it's cheaper to give them $10,000 to go away than it is to try the case.
Can you provide proof of purchase of the pets if that's more than what the court's willing to provide?
The market value, I didn't say the purchase price of the pet. I said the market value.
I know.
The market value is what a willing buyer and a willing seller would trade.
Let's just say the market value of a cat is $100, but you paid $500 for it when you got it, and you have proof of that. You still only get the $100.
$100.
Okay.
Wow. It is.
Can't recoup your purchase.
Yeah. Remember, in any kind of liability when it comes to death of somebody, wrongful death of any kind, it's the market value of the person. What do they bring to the table over the next however many years? What is their income potential? Okay, what am I losing because they're not there?
We're going to go in a dark place here.
Well, when you put a dollar figure on somebody's life, yeah, it gets very dark. But remember when the World Trade Center fell,
right?
They had a liability thing they were dealing with, kind of a tort thing with the government and stuff. The janitors did not get as much as the CEOs. Okay. And now we're saying, well, those CEOs are worth more than janitors. That's not fair. Well, okay, we're not talking about emotional value. We're talking about income. What do they trade? What do they bring? Okay.
So the emotional damage, which is legit, especially when you're dealing with, it's one thing when an accident happens. It's a whole other thing when you know there's faulty, it's at a fault or a carelessness of another individual.
Wait a minute, you said they were trying to get the thing fixed.
Well, it's still, you should have had it fixed before.
Well, I don't know when knowledge happened, but yeah.
Or depending how extensive the wiring was, you deactivate that
Piece.
thing. The thing.
Well, I'm just saying, look, there's all kinds of nooks and crannies, and
so this
you can make law sometimes.
So this individual who lost her dear pets, if you had to shoot in the dark, what's she getting? If she sues the landlord.
Well, I mean, I got losses, okay, and I just bought one, and it cost $2,000. Okay, so the value of that little ball of fur is somewhere around $2,000. Okay, the older ones I think cost $1,600 or $1,800. That's their market value for the most part. They're not like show dogs or anything.
But that's what you paid for them.
But they're purebred. They're purebred dogs. They have a value.
Okay.
I don't know what the market value is.
I understand.
Different kinds of dogs and how much the market value is. Yeah. Yeah.
But just hard to find one with cats, though.
I don't know. Let me try.
Well, I mean, it's you know.
It is, but again, it's what is the law trying to correct here? And it's market value.
What about liability from the landlord? If we find out, let's change the story a little bit more because I want to try to dig into this a little bit about the liability of the landlord. If the landlord, if the tenant said, "Hey, Mr. Landlord, we have faulty wires. I had a licensed inspector come in because you wouldn't do it. Here's the proof," and the landlord's like, "I don't care."
Well, then you give the landlord a notice saying, "I'm going to move out and not pay rent."
I'm not going to move out.
Then you're stupid. Then you put your family at risk.
That's a valid point, Rusty.
So if you know that problem's there, why are you still there?
No, that's a valid point.
That's like saying, "Hey, I know you're drunk. I'm going to take my seatbelt off, and then if you hit me, you know."
Okay. No, I have to. That's a good valid point. Our only leverage is to say I'm not paying rent, or I'm going to
terminate the lease and move.
Lease. Otherwise,
because people like to say, there's something wrong here. I want to stay here and pay no rent. That's not going to work.
Okay. But in the case of where maybe the landlord didn't know and the tenant didn't know, or maybe the landlord had knowledge and the tenant didn't know.
Why didn't the tenant have tenant's insurance?
Well, okay, they had insurance, but
insurance would help pay for some of those losses.
Well, and I get it, but can you go after a landlord for liability?
You can go after for liability, but what's the damages? I'm thinking there's furniture and clothes and whatever else in the house.
But if life is lost,
it's not human life.
All right. Well, what if it is?
Well,
for example, what if this woman lost her children?
Well, okay. In a practical world, with the lawyers, dead children aren't worth much.
Gosh, man, that sounds horrible.
Horribly injured children are worth a lot because it takes a lot to care for them.
Yeah,
for the rest
but
of their life.
what about losing your child in a fire?
If they can show some kind of intentional infliction of emotional distress, yes, but I don't think there's not going to be.
We find out the negligence on behalf of the landlord.
Well, there's going to be a claim and there's going to be a lawsuit and they'll figure something out. But remember, when you put a monetary value on a human,
it's awful.
It is not going to look. It makes the people that do the math look like horrible humans.
Yeah.
Okay, because we're putting monetary value on something.
But can't you fall for emotional duress?
That's true.
Okay, we're saying the value of your life between now and a day in the future is $2 million or $5 million or whatever it is, because we're replacing your income, which means children are just an expense between now and when they leave. Okay,
that's why you need to work them harder.
Well, I think so.
Get that CEO salary.
Teenagers are worth a negative number. Okay,
they're all worth negative.
And if you have to put your kids through college, they may have saved you money.
Is it emotional duress?
But that's the point.
I get it because it sounds
evil sounding.
Evil sounding, yes.
Right, and I recognize that.
Okay,
but it makes me feel good to say it just because it's evil. But I'm just saying, when you put it in those terms, it's very emotional. We've got an emotional thing, whether it's dogs, parakeets, or children. It's very emotional.
But don't they put a dollar amount on that?
They do.
Okay.
They put dollar values on people and how much income. If you suddenly disappear because of somebody's negligence, what has your spouse lost?
Okay. And that makes sense.
Okay. So
I mean,
how much money are you going to earn between now and the time you stop working? How much is that worth? We got to project, there's a way to come up with that value. And loss of consortium, love and care and all that stuff. Yeah. Well, those things have value.
Okay.
But you just, pets, there was a case I read a while back, and I knew the end before I got to it, but I just wanted to read it anyway to see if the end matched what I expected. And it was with Pet Paradise.
Really?
They had a faulty latch on something. Okay. And some big dog came and killed a little dog.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And again, that little dog was loved.
Right.
And the little dog was worth, I think, $200. That was it. That was the damages.
That's what they got.
That's what they got.
Wow.
Now, the negative press is horrifying.
Well, of course.
But that is what the law provides for. Okay? Has nothing to do with how much you love the animal. I've got 3 little personalities living in my house.
Right.
And they all got different personalities, and I enjoy them even though they poop all over the place. But the point is this. And
we're not talking about children. We're talking about dogs, just so you know. That look on Julie's face, I could tell
anything's pooping in the house. We need a dog trainer.
Yeah,
we need some help right away.
But and the little one loves the nip, and she's got sharp little teeth. But
you love them all.
Yeah, and they have personalities. We enjoy them for some crazy reason, and I would miss them dearly. But they have a market value when it comes to their loss.
It's a very disturbing topic, actually.
Well, what can we talk to Tappy?
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about something totally different. Again, I spoiled you. You've had heads up on everything I'm talking about today, which just I should never do, but I did it. This one, because you actually spoke to the individual last night. But in the situation we're going to talk about, we have a property that is owned by 3 individuals because their mother passed away, and it was her homestead. She did not have a will, intestate succession. It is now the 3 children. She didn't have a spouse, and she didn't have a minor child.
Right.
So therefore, the 3 adult children inherit the property.
Correct.
Right. All right. So the 3 children do sign a contract for the sale of the home.
Right.
Now, for whatever reason, somebody was messing with the title. They had a title company that was not us that was demanding that there be a probate done or brain damage. Okay. It's what it was. And they held up the closing because the title wasn't clear.
I don't remember that being part of the facts.
That is.
Okay.
Okay. That's part of the reason for the delay.
There was no delay.
There was.
The delay is one of the people wanted to not sell it now.
Now what happens is with the delay, one of the children now is no longer wanting to sell. Now, we've talked about this. We've been doing a show together for how many years?
I don't know. Long time.
Long time. And one of the things we've talked about is a contract, the power of a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Those 3 children signed the contract.
Right.
Now, there was a problem with one of the contract. They changed the heading of the contract to state the estate of,
and
which
I don't know
never
why
was owned by the estate.
Right.
But the 3 individuals did sign the contract.
Right. Here's what I think happened there. I think the selling agent recognized that they owned the property. The 3 individuals owned the property. The siblings owned the property. I think the listing agent looked at the property appraiser's website, and that hadn't been updated yet, and said the estate of Mama.
Right. And so she changed it.
Yeah.
But the fact is,
they all signed it.
Signed. So with the one, and because we've done a show, one thing we talked about is the power of a contract. When a person signs a contract to sell,
when you have a fully executed contract that when the contingencies are met, then there's an equitable transfer of title.
Right.
And the seller's own bare legal title.
Okay. So she's changed her mind.
Yeah. So, but here's what's happened though. The two other siblings have sued her for partition. She just wants to live in the house.
I get it.
And she wants to live there for free because she's not helping with the mortgage payment.
Explain what a partition is.
A partition action is when we say, hey, you and I own this piece of property and I want my half. And he doesn't want to sell. So if we can't cut it up because it's, not really divisible.
Not divisible, no.
Okay, it's a house. It's kind of hard to cut a house in half.
I've seen people do it.
Yeah.
Put a paint and a line right through the house. No, it's happened. I mean, you've actually dealt with that.
I did.
Yeah, crazy story, by the way.
A line of tape.
Yeah,
Don't
line of
cross
tape.
it.
I mean, no.
Well, I actually did a survey to find out where the property line was, so I knew where it went to the house.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the two siblings that are together have filed a partition action against the other lady, and she just wants to live there for free, and that's not cool. And they have the absolute right to do that. And what's interesting is when you have,
But they're under contract. They don't have
okay,
the only rights they have is to sell,
well,
unless the contract is void.
okay, but we really can't drag this person to a closing, put a gun to their head and make them sign.
I don't think you do a partition action. I think you do a specific
Well,
performance.
but so here's what's happened. The two siblings have already filed the partition action.
Yeah, I think it was an error.
So, well, maybe not. So they're trying to get the judge to force the sale of the property.
No, they're trying to force the sell at the courthouse steps.
Well,
To
just
split up the
relax
equity.
a minute, okay?
I'll chill.
Now, this is heirs property, and we have a statute under the partition statute for heirs partition.
Okay.
So if
And they're just not heirs. I mean, they're fee title holders because they inherited, which I guess is heirs.
It's heirs
Yeah,
property.
it's heirs. It's heirs property.
So you, me, and our other siblings inherit our father's house.
Okay.
You and I want to keep it. Let's say Becky wants to sell it. She can do a partition action. And what will happen since it's heirs property, an appraisal will be done. The court will order an appraisal to be done.
Right.
And we can argue about whether it's valid or not. But after that, for I think 45 days, any one of us or all of us can buy her out
For that appraised.
for
Right.
her
Or 1/3.
her 1/6 of the
Or
value.
1/6. Okay.
Okay. And what's weird is she can't buy us out. She can't force it that way. She can do it if we all agree, but she can't force us to do it, but we can force her.
Okay.
Okay. And if that doesn't work and going to be sold, maybe they'll get a special master, which is a real estate agent. Because we're selling on the courthouse steps not going to get the best value. We need a real estate agent who's
Right.
going to
Well,
market
we
it
see them
properly.
sold at the courthouse steps.
Yes, but
Partition
if it's
action.
possible, I get a special master,
Right.
which is a real estate agent I know and who can sell anything.
Okay.
So that's what we do. Now, the way I'm planning to go into this case is because I want to force the sale. I want to force the contract.
And by the way, this is not in St. Johns County.
Yeah,
You
it's
feel pretty
South
comfortable.
Florida.
South Florida.
Okay. So I'm going to attempt to intervene in the case by saying, Judge, my client's wanting to sue.
Your client being the buyer.
My
now.
client being the buyer
Right.
wants to sue to get specific performance on this contract. And this lady is the only one stopping us from closing.
Right.
And so while my case would be subordinate to the partition case, they kind of go together. Because if they sell the property, if the judge enters the partition action, we got a contract ready to go. And she'd already agreed to it.
Yeah, but here's the problem, Rusty. Yeah, she already agreed to it. You start doing an appraisal now. What if they got it at a great price?
They did get it at a reasonably, they didn't get,
So
they
an
got it at a
appraisal
good
may-
deal. No, they got it at a good deal, but not too good of a deal.
Well, do you know that?
Yeah, because they had to get an appraisal for the insurance,
The loan.
loan insurance. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I thought they had to get, they said it was for the insurance. I think it was for the loan.
It's for the loan.
Yeah, it's got to be for the loan. But
Yeah.
so it's a good deal. It's like, let's say 83% of the appraised value. That's a good
What's
margin.
83%?
What they were purchasing it for?
Oh, that's
Like-
better than a good deal, dude.
Well, it's $400,000 on a property that came in at like $465. But
That's a great deal.
the sellers wanted $430 and they negotiated.
I got it, but still, man. I mean,
it's not too good of a deal.
Okay.
I think it's within the margin of.
Yeah, I could, but listen. If I come to
We
you,
still
Rusty,
have it.
If I come to you, okay, and you agree to sell your property for $100,000 and it appraises for $300,000. If you sign the contract, you're not getting out of that just because you have buyer's remorse. Say, oh, well, I didn't know what it was worth.
Right.
Right?
That should not happen. That's why we have contracts.
That should not happen. Or
if I can find a defect in the contract,
okay, you can't find this contract solid.
Then
Doesn't matter.
I can't imagine.
Right?
I think a judge would be overturned if he found otherwise.
Okay.
Okay.
So I can agree to buy a property for whatever.
Sure.
Right. I don't want to have a rogue heir
And what you
who's
have
deciding to say, well, I don't like the deal anymore because it's worth more. So I want to go ahead and do a partition action. I want to go ahead and get an appraisal done. I want to go ahead and see what my third is really worth.
But here's the thing. Market value is what a willing seller and a willing buyer will trade when neither one of them have to. They already did that when they did the contract. They made a deal. They established the market value. Okay, what other people are buying stuff for is a good indicator of how good of a deal it was, but that's the market value. If we agree to trade $10 for this pen, and neither one of us has to do that, and nobody's pointing guns at us or whatever, and I'm not desperate
we're
for
not
the pen.
coerced.
Right, we're not coerced, okay, and we're acting on our own best interests, then the value of the pen's $10. Okay? I mean, it's what a willing buyer and a willing seller are willing to exchange. That's the deal. That's what market value is. And the reason we intervene is because we don't want to have the judge on one case rule one way and a different judge rule a different way.
Right.
Okay. We want everything to kind of go together.
Yeah.
So that's the way we get to the end of it. But it is interesting, and it I don't know why this one. The only thing that gets me is the contract was e-signed.
Right.
I've had a probate case that got messed up because the two heirs that were e-signed they say they didn't do it.
We're going to talk about e-signing on another show because we have a lot of stories to talk about e-signing and some of the issues with e-signing. I mean, how are you going to prove it? And we'll get into that because that's we'll have to have a whole nother 30 minutes for that.
Mm-hmm.
But this has been Land Title Talk. Rusty, how do they find you?
904-829-6600.
Ask for Ben. That's 904-829-6600. Also, Land Title of America, you can reach us at 904-797-9600, or you can text me or call me at any time on my cell phone, 904-501-4481. Remember, when it comes to refinancing, purchasing, any of those things, you need an owner's title insurance or a lender's title insurance. Don't use the bank's title company, and don't use some real estate-owned title company or bank-owned title company. Protect yourself. Use a title company that's local that you can come visit, sit down with, and talk with. But we appreciate you listening. Julie, thank you for coming as always. Appreciate you. And we'll see you next week. Thank you very much.